Hi, in my videos I've mentioned that I work with an old computer and with Final Cut Pro 7 to edit these videos, and that I've been wanting to make the switch to Final Cut Pro X, but since it's such a different program, it's held me back for a long time to do that. I've also mentioned that I now have a new computer and started working with Final Cut Pro X so that I can get out my videos a lot quicker and a lot easier. Now, I get a lot of questions about my process, about how I make my videos. So today I wanted to take some time to go over some basics for Final Cut Pro X and to show you some tips on how to speed up your editing if that's something that you're into, and also just to show you the process in making my videos. We'll start by opening a Final Cut Pro and creating a new library. We will call this Rotterdam Night Run Test. And we will save it. I already have the Rotterdam Night Run done. And start a new project. Rotterdam Night Run Test video. Okay, there it is. I've used some of the footage that I've already used from the Rotterdam Night Run, so I'll import that from my media. Now that I'm recording the audio separately, I have to import the video footage and the audio footage. When I select all the files and right-click on them, I could choose to synchronize clips here, or press Command Option G, and it is automatically set to sync using the audio. Now that it's done, it has created a new file that uses the audio from the recorder on the video file. So that's the video file we will be using in our edit. Now I scroll through the video till I get to a part that I think I might want to use. Then I press I for in, and I press the space bar to start playing, and press it again to stop it. I press O for out, and then I want to get it to the timeline. I can either drag it down here to the timeline, or I can just press E and that'll make it appear on the timeline. I keep scrolling for the next part that I think I might want to use. I press I, spacebar to play. I press O for out and E to add it to the timeline. And do that again. Press E, spacebar to stop it, O, and E to add it to the timeline. Now, if I might want to use that part in between here instead of having it at the end of the timeline, also I could do Command Z to undo that. I can put the playhead in between the two files, and instead of pressing E, I press W. And now the file is in between here. Okay, but I don't want to do that. I want to press E to add it to the end. I scroll through the footage and just keep adding parts that I think I want to use every time by pressing I, O, and E. So this can be done fairly quickly. It doesn't even have to be that precise. I can do that afterwards and come back to the footage and make the cuts a bit more exact to where I want them to be. Sometimes I end up with shots that in the flow of everything don't work well, but I can delete those shots later on, or switch them around a little bit to make them work better. But for now, I just scroll through it, add whatever I think I can use in a video, and then come back to it later. Okay, so now that I have the timeline full of the footage that I want to use, we're already well on our way to having a finished product. But now comes the fine-tuning. I want to start with me announcing what the video is about. This is something that I filmed halfway through the video, so I have to go to that clip. Here it is. And make sure that the snapping tool is on. That's this one. When it's blue, it's on. Then just grab this, drag it to the beginning, and everything else will just automatically move over. I want to check the shot to see if the beginning and the end of the video are where I want it to be. And it can actually end a little earlier. So what I can do is I can just go to the end of the shot and just drag it back a little bit. Or what I could do is set the playhead to right there where I want it to stop. And then by pressing Option and end bracket, it just moves the file to where I want it to end. Now this is where I want my intro to go. So what I want to do is import my intros, and by pressing W, it will fit right in between there. Now we want to add music to the video. So I'll just use some random music that I have from Hook Sound. It's free to use music that I use for my videos, and as long as I mention the link to where I got the music from in the description, I can use it on my YouTube videos. Now the video starts with all these short impressions of the start of the race, so it's always nice to have that lined up with the music. Now you can do this by looking at the waveform of the audio, but that doesn't always give you a real clear view of where certain beats are. So what I like to do is to make my own markers on the audio file. To do this, I have to make sure that the file is selected. Put the playhead at the beginning of the music file, and I press spacebar to start the music. And then by pressing M, I make markers in the music file. Therefore, you have to make sure that the audio file is selected. And when you start it, okay, I don't have to go through the whole file right away. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so now we have the markers on the audio file, and we can see that it's not at all in sync with the shots that we have. Now what I can do is I can just move this over and make this a little shorter. Most of the shots that I took, I just cut them randomly to begin with, so it's easy to just move them around a little bit and still have them be okay. You want to make sure that you still capture what you wanted to capture with the shot, so you don't lose the footage that you're thinking of using. But especially these quick shots, they can easily be edited to be shorter or sometimes longer. And now with the audio turned down from the original files, just drag all the audio levels to the bottom for these. And then move the playhead to the beginning. Is already a lot nicer to look at. Now for the parts where you want the volume of the music to go down so that you can hear what's going on screen, you can adjust the volume with keyframes. Now what I do is I go to the point where I need the volume to go down and set a keyframe by selecting the music file, setting the playhead to where I need it to go down, and then go here in the inspector and I press keyframe. Now I move the playhead back a little bit to here and I set another keyframe. Then with this one it goes to the next keyframe, so the first one that we set, and here we can drag the level down. So I drag it down to about 23, 24, minus 23, 24.
Okay, so I signed up for a bunch of other races as well.
So now we can hear the audio. Now I can either set another keyframe here, which I sometimes like to do, and then pull it all the way down. So right here, there's no more music at all, and you can just hear me talking in the other footage. Now, why would I do this? Is because sometimes there's a long time of me talking, and you're not really hearing the music anyways. So to be able to use the same song again, or have the song continue when I start showing the race again, I cut the music file right here by pressing B, which changes the cursor into a blade, which you can also do over here. Here you can select blade, but see, the shortcut for that is B. So now I am here and I cut the file there, then I go back to the cursor by pressing A, or I can go here and select the select tool. And then what I can do is just drag this part of the audio file to just about here and see where I would want the music to start again. And set it here with another keyframe. Then you can see there's a keyframe here, and I'll just drag up the audio to around -9, and I should have done that at the beginning for this file as well. This should have been down to -9. You can drag it on the file itself, or you can drag it up here. That doesn't really make a difference. So now when we get back here, the music starts playing again. And then of course, if you want to have this sync up with the audio as well, you can set markers again and line up the footage of the video with that. Once I've gone through all the music files, I go through the entire video and see if I need to adjust the edit at some points or adjust the sound level. I check if all the cuts I made are like they should be. I add some transitions where that's needed, and then the video is pretty much done. I normally do some color correction, but I'll leave that for a different video. Now, if you like seeing my process or enjoyed learning about Final Cut Pro, let me know in the comments. Next video will be more running related again, I promise. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and until next time, get out there and run.